Hey guys, hope you're doing well. It is just after 6 in the morning. It's 39 degrees and I'm downtown. I'm going to take a few shots of the skyline. I'm trying to get out and shoot more this year than I have in the last couple of years. I just didn't go out very often. In fact, I got out last night and had a beautiful, beautiful sunset over on the what's called the Loop 360 bridge here in Austin. I'll put a photo up there. That's a 3 exposure HDR. And anyway, it's beautiful light. But this morning I'm up and I'm down here. I'm gonna get this skyline. And you know, I actually shot this skyline only about a month ago. There's this great platform. I wanted to come back and try to get it in different lighting conditions. And so I have just arrived at my spot. And it's just a fantastic view of the skyline, which I cannot show you right now because it's too dark. But that's a photo of what it looks like, and that's where I'm gonna be shooting this morning. Lots of people out jogging this morning. This is a hike and bike trail down by the lake. I'm not exactly jogging these days because of my back. Some of you read my newsletter. If you haven't subscribed, you can do that at the link below, but I put in there that I injured my back. Thanks for all the nice comments and that sort of thing. I really appreciate that. My back is better. I'm out walking, and I've been walking some and starting to work out and do yoga again, so trying to get back into the swing of things. So I'm definitely getting better, which is why I'm out shooting. But thank you for that. I appreciate that. And what I'm doing over here is going to be essentially just a reflected skyline shot like that one that I showed you from before, just under different lighting conditions. But like I said, it's a beautiful spot and I'm looking forward to shooting it. So the rowing team for the University of Texas just went by. They have these little lights on their boat, so I got a couple of little light streaks in the foreground as they went by in front of the skyline. Pretty cool stuff. It's getting cold, so I had to don my hat, which in addition to keeping my head warm, is also keeping my hair out of my eyes because the wind's blowing a little bit, not too bad. I am shooting manual mode, F9 for 13 to 15 seconds. Tripod mounted, of course. And by the way, the tripod I'm using is the Ulanzi F38 carbon fiber travel tripod. I did a review on my blog. I'll put a link down below. I'll be doing a full review here, but I put that in my most recent newsletter. A lot of people ask me questions about it. It's fantastic. It's like the Peak Design tripod, which I also have, but it's lighter. It's a tiny bit taller, but it's super sturdy, super amazing, and about half the price. It's really cool. Like I said, check out my review on my blog, and I will be doing a video review here as well. But anyway, I'm gonna keep shooting. I'm getting some nice shots and the light is looking good. Hopefully the sun will break through the clouds because the sun rises obviously in the east, which is that direction. Hoping that'll add something a little bit dramatic to my shots. Okay, I moved slightly downriver only because the one tiny challenge that I have with that spot is there's no foreground element, which I think makes a stronger composition and a stronger photo. Now, I love the reflections, and there's oftentimes when you can find something in the foreground, use that in the foreground to kind of anchor the composition, but then also still get all the full reflections. Over there's just not really anything except for the deck that I'm on, so I'm gonna probably go back and try that, but I've currently moved slightly downriver, like 50 yards. There's another little spot, and here there's some stone steps that lead down to the water. I'm standing right next to the water, and of course I'm facing the skyline, a slightly different view of it. There's some trees that overhang, and a little bit of this stone step kind of curves away. It's not exactly a foreground element, it's more of a leading line, but gives a little bit of different perspective on things. I like it, and the light is starting to come in. It's definitely blue hour now. I'm gonna get a few more shots here, and I'm gonna go back over to my first spot. So I've just done a couple with the deck here, or the platform that I'm on, back in my original spot, and I'll show you those. You can see, you know, a nice little line, that sort of thing, but it's not exactly an interesting foreground element. It is what I have, and it's what I'm working with, but I need to take a look at them to see which ones I like better. I like the idea of having that little line, that little bit of a anchoring element in the foreground, but it's not interesting really, so I might prefer the one with just a full-on reflection. We'll see. I'll take a look at them in Luminar when I get home, but the light is starting to come through. You can kind of see that now. There's a little bit of sunlight peeking through. Well, there was. It's kind of fading, but it's way over there. And anyway, the blue hour is on. I'm getting some nice looking shots, and I just love being out and doing this kind of thing because I just don't do it enough. I also should add that I'm shooting with my wide-angle lens. It's a 16 to 35 f2.8 GM lens from Sony on my Sony a7 R3 camera. It's one of my favorite lenses. I'm a big fan of wide angle views, and you know, I shoot a lot of landscapes and cityscapes, which, hey, there goes a rabbit. Oh, that's cool. Can't zoom in with a GoPro really, so I won't show you. But anyway, a little rabbit just ran by. But I love the wide angle view, so this lens and the 20mm f1.8 from Sony are two of my faves. I just kind of like that view. Although in situations like this, I didn't bring it, but if you did bring a zoom lens, it is kind of interesting, I think, to isolate specific elements in a skyline and either just get the architectural details or perhaps the just an isolated building with the reflection, just to kind of zoom in. That would be cool, but today was all about wide angle, and there's actually a little bit of color in the sky. I need to get back to shooting because I think the light is maybe, just maybe, gonna pop for me. Okay, it's a couple of minutes till sunrise, and as you can see, the light did not really pop. That's okay though. I was just reviewing my images from earlier, and the ones when I first got here, when it was quite dark, I think they look pretty good. I mean, I haven't seen them on the big screen, but on the back of my camera, they look pretty sweet. The light, the reflection, even the color, because I was doing longer exposures, like 12 or 13, 15 seconds, and all the lights in the city reflecting on the clouds just make for some beautiful colors. And in fact, down there, when I was a little bit further downriver, there was two images I took 2 minutes apart, and the colors are, even though the settings are exactly the same, the colors are actually a bit more vibrant. They changed in just that 2 minutes. And so I'm pretty happy with what I've got, even though I don't have much of a sunrise. Although, you know, I mean, there's a little bit of light here still. Maybe it'll break through, but I feel like that might be about it. I'm gonna get a few more shots just in case. Okay, sunrise is right now, according to my app, and actually way in the distance, there's a tiny little bit of color in the layer clouds, and also over here there's a tiny bit of color in these clouds, but generally speaking, I'm not seeing a big pop. I'm gonna stick around just in case, because you never know, and I can't tell you how many times I've left a scene and then thought, oh crud, why did I do that? Because the light got beautiful. So it's always worth sticking around just in case. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Okay, the good news is a little bit of color has come through. However, as you can see, it's not over there. It's actually this other direction, which is not quite as attractive to me in terms of the composition. You can maybe see a little bit of that color up there in the clouds. It looks okay, it's not great, and unfortunately it's just kind of in the wrong spot. I'm shooting that direction. The arrangement of the buildings and the whole composition just looks better that way. So, you know, patience is a virtue. I got a little bit of color out of the deal, but I didn't really get it where I wanted to get it. I put on a filter, so I've got a 6-stop variable ND set on 6, and I'm doing that at like f16 or something for like 25 seconds. And it, you know, the water's nice and smooth, looks pretty okay, but it's not exactly what I was hoping for. I was really hoping to get a huge pop of color. I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes and see if anything happens. Okay, well, sunrise time has come and gone. I've still got some decent color and some nice clouds that are kind of catching a little bit of that color. I've got a bunch of shots here. I've done some long exposures, done some brackets, done some single shots, just done, frankly, a lot of stuff. I think I'm about done, even though there's a little bit of color, so it's always tempting to just stick around just in case. And even though my initial plan coming out, because the forecast was for clear skies, my initial plan was to have some clear skies and just do the dark, you know, pre-dawn into blue hour with the lights and hopefully some stars. I ended up with completely different conditions, and that's okay with me. You obviously can never predict exactly what's going to happen, but I feel like I got some nice shots here. So I'm pleased with that, and now it's time to get home and do some editing. So thanks for following along. If there are any specific photos here you'd like me to show you an edit for, let me know. I'm going to walk through some of these probably in some future videos. I've got some ideas and some tips about how to edit long exposures along with HDRs and that sort of thing. So I'll be covering those in future videos. Thanks for watching, my friends. You guys take care. I'll see you soon, and adios.